Swindon's youth unemployment level remaining worrying high, what education and training opportunities are needed to fill the requirements of the promised low-carbon economy? And who will provide the training in the face of government cuts to this provision? I want to ask each panel member within in a minute to actually give a response to that before we start to wind up. Does anyone want to start?
Well, I'm happy to go first. I think I already said that there would be 34,000 jobs in renewable energy generation if we are actually meeting serious carbon targets. And I also think that the insulation, as I've already said, is crucial as well. And there's another whole load of jobs there. Who should pay for this? I think the government should absolutely invest in these sort of programmes, because I think we've got a wasted generation, a lost generation of young people who just don't have employment, and that's an absolute tragedy for them, and the evidence shows that that will mark them for all their lives. And I think it's, I mean, I haven't got time to go into the politics of austerity and how I think we would fund this, but that's kind of my other bag, so you can come and hear me in Bristol on Monday if you want to hear that far. But I do think the money's there. I think we're not spending the money for political reasons rather than economic reasons, and I think it's the young people who are particularly losing out because of that.
A level of brevity, which I hope your fellow panel members adhere to. Gary, do you want to take it?
For me, the answer is actually about starting where the young people are. It's not actually about creating false hope, about high-tech jobs and things which are actually beyond people's reach. In many cases, having worked through the Future Jobs Fund with young people, I know actually the starting place for a lot of these is actually some of the very basic things that need to be done. And so actually it's about building their personal resilience and actually helping them to address feelings of isolation, feelings of low self-esteem. And the answer to a lot of that actually comes through what I will call ecotherapy, which actually embracing nature, spending time in the natural world, and using that as a means to help those young people to experience the self-worth and a value that they actually have. They are valuable members of our society, they can make valuable contributions to society, but they need to be given a helping hand. Holding out a promise of very high-tech, highly skilled jobs at the very outset is not where you need to be. You need to start where they are and actually by a series of steps lead them on, and that requires careful managed programs.
Thank you very much, Gary.
I think Gary's actually done a really good answer on that, and I completely agree with that one. I think we'll find all of us kind of agreeing on it. Partly, I think the rhetoric around this kind of thing, as we've kind of just heard, I actually don't think helps anybody at all. I think it's really easy to say it's the government's fault. Actually, I think this is where we need to incentivise business again, because it's not just about youth unemployment in that sense, it's all jobs. And how can we actually get another 1,000 jobs in Swindon, full-time workers, and then you try and skill up and recruit and get apprentices involved in these companies, so they can be continuing growth in that sense. So I think there's a whole range of works that are happening. We've got Plan 500, which was where the council worked with businesses across Swindon to actually get 500 apprentices. It happened, it was achieved. Okay, so how do we make that 5,000 apprenticeship jobs? And that's the challenge that is actually being risen to. And these things are happening, but it takes time to respond. And you have to be realistic about how you actually approach these things. I think the money is actually there. I think it is focused in the right kind of places. But actually, the opportunities is what we need to identify and actually make sure happens. So for instance, if you look at housing, which is my particular area, taking on apprentices to build the houses will be a natural place which we could fill some of the employment gaps, both for the youths and also existing for elder residents. But actually, we're not building houses. Last year here in Swindon, we built 600 houses. 5 years ago, we were building 2,000 houses a year. And that's the fundamental problem that we have at the moment is we need to grow the economy again to sort out where we are. And with that becomes solving the problem of youth unemployment and all employment in Swindon and in fact the rest of the country. And part of it then down to education and other opportunities and we can kind of talk about that around the houses. But I think that's where it is